All right, we are going to start with the new unit here. We are basically just going to be working with geometry concepts for the rest of the semester. And we're going to start with triangles here. And this will be video number 1. So, medians of a triangle. With the geometry stuff, if we were in class, I had guided notes and everything for that. So I'm still going to use the guided notes. I'm going to fill them in for you. I will include a blank copy like this and then a copy of them all filled in. Also on your stuff for each week. Hopefully that will be helpful to you. If you can print it out, that's fine. If you can't print it out, that's fine. But I'm going to include that with you. Instead of trying to reinvent the wheel, I'm going to still use the guided notes. So let's get started here with medians of a triangle. A median that's going to be our first blank. A median of a triangle is a segment connecting the midpoint of one side of the opposite vertex. So this drawing that we have, opposite, let me erase that. Vertex. Okay, so we have an example of that here with us. So what we're looking at here is the median here's your vertex, and it is this line right here going to the midpoint. Now, if you remember what a midpoint means, it means that it is going to be the middle point, which since it is the middle point, that means both sides are going to be congruent. So both sides are congruent. And I'm hoping that you guys remember what congruent means, which means the same. And I'm hoping that you guys will also remember that congruent, the symbol is like an equal sign, but a little squiggly thing on the top of it. That right there means congruent. So the little marks right here means congruent. So let's go with an example with this right here. AD is a median of the triangle. So from A down to D is the median. What is the length of DC if BC is 16? So it's saying that the entire thing right here is 16. The entire thing is 16. Well, if we go back up to the part, up here it says midpoint. So D is the midpoint, which means it makes these two sides congruent, which means these are going to be 8. So DC equals 8. And that's going to be your answer right there. Going with this next one right here, a triangle has 3 medians. The medians intersect at a point called the centroid. Okay, a centroid. The 3 medians, so we're going to say that this is A, B, C. And this vertex intersects this midpoint. And we're going to say that this is F, or E, F, and let's say that's D right there. So A intersects side BC, creating this midpoint at D. And that means these two sides are going to be congruent. And the same thing here. BE intersects AC, which makes these two congruent. CF intersects AB, which makes these congruent. So for the individual parts from a whole median, the theorem says 1/3 to 2/3 of the length if I can actually write without running everything together. So 1/3 to 2/3 of the length of the median. All right, we're going to set up some equations here and solve them with this. Okay, so basically what we're saying here is if this is x, this side over here is going to be 2x. So if the smaller part is x, then the longer part up here is going to be 2x. Okay, so we're going to say that G is the centroid. So G equals the centroid. The shorter part will be x, and the taller part up here will be 2x. So that is basically what this is saying right here in layman's terms. All right, let's go to some problems here that includes this. All right, I'm sorry about using that marker beforehand. It bled through a little bit, but we can make this work. All right, so let's do if A, B, C, and we're just going to continue labeling these A, B, C, and G is our centroid. That's our very center. AG is 40. I'm going to put 40 right here on this line right there. AG is 40. FC, and we had F, E, and D. Okay. And we're going to keep the letters in the same format right here. FC is 90, so the entire thing from beginning down to here is 90. GE is 10. GE is 10 right here. Find AD, FG, and BG. So let's start with AD. All right. AD is the first one we're going to look at here. All right. So if I know that this is 40, and you need to look at this, is this the 2x or is that the x? Okay. So remember the longer side is the 2x, and this is going to be x. So if, let's see, what was that, AG? If AG is 40, and AG was the 2x, equals 40, if I divide that by 2, x would equal 20. So that side down here would mean that this GD would be 20. So GD equals 20. And notice the whole entire thing, A to D, includes the 40 and the 20. So AD would equal 40 plus 20, which equals 60. The 40 is going to be AG plus GD. So AG plus GD gives us the whole entire thing of AD, and 40 plus 20 equals 60. So we have one answer right there. We've answered the AD one. Let's look at the FG next. FG. FG is this part right here, the small part. We know the entire length is 90. So I know FC equals FG plus GC. And I know that the whole thing is 90. And I know FG is the X. And I know C or GC is the 2x because it's the longer one. So now I'm just going to set up this equation and solve this. X plus 2x is 3x. Divide by 3. So x equals 30. Okay. Now x is the smaller one, FG. So FG equals 30. That's what I needed to figure out right there, FG. So FG equals 30. Now, if we needed to figure out GC, GC is just going to be 2 times 30, which would be 60. Okay, now we're going to figure out BG. All right, BG. BG is the longer one here. So I know BE equals BG plus GE. and I know GE is to be 10. The BG is going to be 2x. Now, BE, how would I figure out what BE is? Well, this right here is just going to be very similar to what we did right up here. But I can also think about over here, x plus 2x equaled 3x. So I can think about it that way. And I can just minus 2x to both sides. And I can get x equals 10, which we already knew that. So if BG is 2x, I can do BG would equals 2 times 10 equals 20. Now that might be a long way for you, some of you, to think about that. Some of you might have said, well, BG, this is x, this is 2x. Now I could have just went from automatically 2 times 10 is 20. I could have went directly to that. All right, so we have all three answers here because we have AD is 60 up there. So everything was answered right there. Let's go down to example 3, and we're still going to keep our triangle the same as what we had before, ABC, BC. However, notice we got BX and AY and ZC. So we are going to do, let's see, BX is a median. So BX, AY, and ZC are medians. If AX equals 3x minus 9, 3x minus 9 goes there. XC, the entire, or wait a minute, XC right there, goes 2x minus 4. And ZB is 2x plus 1. What is AZ? So here's my question mark. What is AZ? Okay, now, this is not as bad as what it looks. If you can remember, what does a median do for you? A median makes, where it intersects right there at the midpoint, makes these two congruent. Remember, that's what those lines mean right there. So these two are congruent. So if they're congruent, that means they're the same, which essentially just means I need to set those equal to each other and solve. So I'm going to do 3x minus 9 equals 2x minus 4. Here I'm just solving for x, so minus 2x to both sides. And 3x minus 2x is x, minus 9 equals negative 4. Add 9 to both sides. And negative 4 plus 9 is 5. So x equals 5. So now, since I know x equals 5, I need to know what this x, right, this side up here equals, because notice these two are going to be congruent as well. So if I can figure out what 2x plus 1 equals, then I will know what this side over here equals. So 2x plus 1, x equals 5. So 2 times 5 plus 1. 2 times 5 is 10. 10 plus 1 is 11. So this side right here equals 11. So since these are congruent, this side is 11. So AZ equals 11 as well. And we are done with that problem right there. All right, let's keep going here. Number 4, in triangle, ABC, and I'm just going to keep labeling them the same thing as what I've had. Oh, well, we've got this one already labeled for us. Sorry about that. In triangle ABC, CF, BE, AD are medians. If GA is 6, so this right here is 6, what is the length of GD? Okay, well, going back to what we had discussed, 2x, this is a 2x, and this is x. So 2x equals 6, so x equals 3. So that means this side right here equals 3. So GD equals 3. Okay, there's that answer. We've got that one. Given FC equals 15, so FC, the entire thing from end to end, is 15. The entire thing. What is the length of FG? Okay, this is where you need to realize, is FG the 2x or is FG the x? And I'm hoping that you realize it's the smaller one. So this is going to be x, and this bigger part over here is going to be 2x. So you need to think about FC equals FG plus GC. So FC equals, the small one is x and the large one is 2x. So we know the large one is 15. I mean, the entire length is 15. We don't know the small or the large, so we're just setting up an equation here and solving this. X plus 2x is 3x. And divide by 3. So x will be 15. And x is FG, so FG equals 5. And we are done with that. And we are almost done here with this. Example number 5. In triangle MNP, and we are going to label our MNP. Let's just start right here with MNP. MY, so M to Y is a median. XP, here's P. Let's go here for X. And ZN, these are all medians. Find XW. Find XW. So W is your median. When XP equals 20, so XW, this is what we're wanting to find right there. XP, the entire length is 20.1. So from one end down to the next, all of that is 20.1. What? Before we even start worried about this next part, because that involves another part of the triangle. So the entire length, XP, equals 20.1. And I know XP equals XW plus WP. That is the short plus the long equals whole entire thing. So I'm going to have 20.1 equals. Now let's go back and remember, the short is going to be x plus the long is going to be 2x. So x plus 2x is 3x. Divide by 3. And I'm just going to go ahead and tell you guys now that this is going to be 6.7, and we're just going to round that off. So XW equals 6.7. So there's that answer. Now we're trying to find NP. NP, what is NP if NY equals 8? NY. NY is 8. Right there's NY. And I need to find NP. The entire length is what I'm looking for. Okay? And I need to know that if this side is 8, then what is this side over here going to be? What do those marks mean? That means they're congruent. So this is going to be 8. So NP, 8 plus 8 is 16. There's my other answer. And I've got everything answered there. We are not going to worry about example 6. If we were in class, we would worry about it, but we're not in class.